Hello? Is anybody out there? Yeah, I can only blame myself if nobody enters in because I totally forgot to post on the channel that this was happening. I actually had it all queued up to post well in advance. Probably forgot about it. Went to check something else a couple minutes ago. Realized, oops, I never posted anything. So hopefully some folks will join in. I apologize for not doing a good job of promoting the fact that I was streaming just now. Eventually, I'll come up with a system that actually works. Also apologize. Someone was mowing the grass or leaf blowing again outside my window. I want to say that the great noise cancellation abilities of some of my software is taking care of these noises. Albeit just as chickens. Great. Well, at least the chickens are here. Chickens with fangs, I hope. So hopefully that all gets settled out. The one thing that's funny with the noise cancellation is that it now turns out to be much more of a pain for me, an irritant and distraction for me than it is for you guys, which is great. But I think sometimes if you see me awkwardly pause or sort of stare out that way, which is towards my window unexpectedly, it's because it's bothering me, even though it can't come through. All right, Bob Mostel and Elfbay both confirmed they are not getting no landscaping noises. All right, well, that's great. Don't really have any programming notes. Tomorrow, tune in. We'll be doing our weekly look at the OSR Reddit group. People seem to like that. I enjoyed it a lot, so stay tuned. With that said, let's pull up where we were and let's get going. Let's see if I got this right. All right, this is essentially where we left off. This is the look inside of Miro that shows our hex map, which I have not done any edits to. At some point, I'll have to go back and add because now we have some extra landmarks that we've discovered through rolling on the tables in the Worlds Without Number. I'll go and add those in, but for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. We had, or the past couple of episodes, done this area here. We kind of sketched out a bit of the details in the regions around the domes itself. We also did this kind of dead forest area, the dead forest hills. These just kind of normal, your sort of standard hills, average hills. Then there was also this grassland / hills zone that we did, and then these grasslands themselves. So as far as we've been going west to east, starting from the domes, which are kind of in the middle of our hex map. We have been going east. We still have a couple of areas east left to do. One of those being this, I don't know, we could call it, so really we could look at it as 1 or 3 zones, depending. It's one, we could do it kind of as one forest, but we can see already that there's 3 elements of the forest. And this is something that we'll just do as one forest for now, but we can come back and we want to flesh out the different zones. But just through how I happen to have drawn it in the hex map, we have light forest, heavier, thicker forest, and then a forest hill zone. So right now we'll look at it as one contiguous region, but we can, at later times, we can delve in and pull them out and suss out some individual characteristics for each one. For all of these region levels, we're using the one roll terrain feature levels set of tables. That's on page 123 if you have campaign cartographer handy, or not, sorry, campaign cartographer. If you have, well, I don't know why I thought about it. If you have your Worlds Without Number book handy. And I'm just using, for right now, Dice Maiden in a Discord server that I have a private room in, so that people aren't seeing me just weirdly rolling dice all by myself. For this next region, I'm just going to call it Mixed Forest, I guess. Mixed Forest. All right, we'll call it Mixed Forest. First, we have to roll for let's see, what's first? How dangerous is it? We've been getting a lot of highly dangerous levels, but remember, you got to keep in mind, and we may need to come back and amend these, that we're much more likely to get some level of danger than safe. And boy, these dice are not not being helpful for poor player characters. Once again, I have rolled Death Zone. And all right, so this is this is a Death Zone. All right. Obviously, the world outside the domes is supremely dangerous. Maybe that's part of the reason why they built domes. The Cataclysm clearly had a really big impact, a great impact on the environment, not just in terms of whatever destruction it caused, but in terms of just ramping up the danger level. All right, so now we got to look at the kind of usefulness or what resources or what makes this terrain. I don't know if interesting is the right word. Got a rare and precious resource. Once again, another rare and precious resource. Can I make this wider? No, it's not going to let me. All right. It's got a rare resource. What's next? Next is what kind of event last happened here. Let's see what we get for that. This is a D10. So we got a few different options here. 8. Another grim or terrible thing has awoken. Well, that makes sense because it's hyper dangerous. Remember, that thing might not still be here. It's up to us to determine whether or not said grim, terrible thing was awoken in the past and it's gone now and maybe just left things behind, or whether it's still active. We've got a population roll, which is a D4. 2, very few settlers or workers. Okay, so it's sparsely settled. All right. And then for antagonists, we've got a D12 roll. Got a 6. More elemental emanations. Wow, we're really getting a theme here. The dice are just pushing this theme of elemental emanations. Again, I'm kind of getting this kind of spiritual vibe. Right now, we've got this kind of forest with elemental emanations. We've got the dead forest with elemental emanations, dead forested hills, that kind of combo zone, and also the poor grasses. I'm wondering, first I was thinking elemental like it had to be, fire, water, earth, air, but maybe we can expand that to be sort of nature, spiritish kind of stuff. Fit in maybe a little bit, especially if we're going for the vibe of that the disaster, the catastrophe was ecological in nature. It might make sense to tie that in. No, nothing says looks like normal food and clean water might be a rare and precious resource around these parts. Absolutely. Safety seems to be a precious resource. Life itself, unblemished by whatever catastrophe or whatever weird things are happening, might be a precious resource. Yes, indeed. All right, and now let's see what kind of quirk we get. This is a D20 roll. Dice Maiden says 19, riddled with caves and delvings. All right, so we get, and again, it kind of fits, right? It fits. We have the hills part of this, so also riddled, which kind of leads some interesting ideas. Maybe there's a connection between the delvings and caves in this section with the ones that are in those grasslands. Maybe there are connections. There could be. Maybe there's some sort of dungeon or mega dungeon that connects these areas somehow. Maybe something that connected this settlement here with the domes. All kinds of things going on. All right. That was fast. That was the mixed forest. Is that the last one on this side? Yeah, because I'm just going to link these grasslands. These grasslands are part of this. Yeah, so I think that's it for east of the domes. Now we're going to start to move westward. Westward ho, me hearties. Westward ho. Okay, where do we want to start? We got the dead forested hills. That's part of that one. This is sort of a, I don't know what to call that. It's kind of dead forest grasslands. All right, for this is forest wetlands. So I'll start there. Start there. Oops. Move this down. Okay. The elf base says dead scrublands for the forest grasslands. Yeah, maybe. Yep. I like that. I like that. So for the forest wetlands, we'll just start back up at the start. We've got how dangerous. All right. Look, on a 1, it's safer. We have gotten, I don't think we've gotten any. So they're the two results of dangerous levels. It's on a 1, it's safer than usual for someplace like it. Vague will say it's some, whatever's kind of safe, somewhat safe. And then 2, 1 notable kind of danger. I'm not sure we've gotten either of those once. Maybe we've gotten 2 once. Look, I hate to be like the drummer in Spinal Tap, but the odds are with us that we are going to get a 1 or a 2. But will it be now? Nope. Dice Maiden serves me up another 6. Dice Maiden just spiked that back in my face. That's another death zone. Dice Maiden says, yeah, you'd like to think you're going to get a 1 or a 2. You're getting another death zone. Death zones for everybody. Hey, that's just, man, this is the world of Logan's Run is not a kind, gentle place. It's tough sledding. Though, like I said, we can amend these. We can amend these as needed, but I'm just going with what I'm rolling with what the dice are giving me right now. All right, on whatever the resources of this one. It's got another major trade route runs through it, which kind of makes sense, I think, given what we've seen from other things. I think it does make sense, actually. All right. And then we got the kind of event, the last significant historical event. Rich ancient ruin was discovered here. Ooh, and it's rich. All right. Might have to plunk another. We might have to go through and plunk something there to represent a symbol there to represent the whatever that ancient ruin is or where it is. All right, how populated? How populated are we? 1, almost unpopulated. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I gotta do something because I got this mount that's great for maneuvering my webcam around just to position it, but when I hit my table, it shakes. I don't know how visible it is during the stream, but I see it and I think, boy, that must be annoying. So apologies for that. You see me shaking. It's not because there's an earthquake happening. It's just me hitting the mount accidentally through my desk. All right, so it's unpopulated, practically unpopulated. We got to roll for some antagonists. Oh my gosh, elemental emanations again. What are the odds? What are the odds? We definitely have this theme here. Definitely like the idea of, regardless, I don't even know in terms of Worlds Without Number what their elemental kind of emanations mean, but I think here I'm definitely seeing some kind of ecological something or other. And that part of the cataclysm maybe caused these things to bubble up. Something happened, and it's happening in all these different areas. Now we just have the quirk. 17. This might be one we haven't seen before, is it? The locals once populated it more heavily. It's kind of not much of a quirk, but I guess it's something. I guess it is something. All right, so it used to be more heavily populated. My cat, who's off camera, has just decided to rouse himself to a little attention. That is that wetlands. A dead zone. There's a tree that runs through it. Some kind of rich ancient site was discovered. It's practically unpopulated. It's got those elemental emanations, but it used to be populated more heavily, and we can figure out sometime later what happened here. Now we have another mixed forest. Oh, we have hills. I guess I'll do the hills first. So we've got hills. Got hills. All right. Oops. No, nothing. Okay, so the whole world emanates elements. It seems to be not everywhere. Hasn't happened everywhere, but it's happened in probably about half the zones. Half the zones have elements, some kind of emanations. Whoops. I lost. Where did my window go? There we go. Half the zones seem to emanate. So we got the wetlands emanate elements. So do the dead forested hills. Let's see. So do the grassland hills. So does the mixed forest, and so do the poor grasses. So actually, maybe more than half, 2/3. So it's not everywhere, but man, it's in a lot of places. And we'll definitely have to figure out what that means because it obviously plays a big role in the local environment. So it'll be significant. It is a significant something we'll need to suss out. All right, where were we? What did I just roll? Oh, I hadn't rolled anything yet. All right, so here we go. Dice Maiden. Anyone want to take bets? This should be a betting game or a drinking game at this point. How dangerous are we going to get another death zone? Will Dice Maiden feed me a 1 or a 2 on one of these D6 rolls? It doesn't seem to want to. She's been unkind in that regard. 4. Unusually dangerous in several ways. All right, well, that's actually a step down, at least. Unusually dangerous in several ways. Okay. All right. On 10-7. Yep. Day drinking. Well, here's the thing is I don't drink. So, I'm safe. I'm safe from these games. It's you guys. You guys I'd be worried about. You guys I need to keep an eye on. Take your make sure you're at home in a safe space before you watch the stream. I'll be fine. I'm just drinking water. I suppose we could give me some kind of interesting thing to drink. There are probably other ways to get to me besides alcohol. That's what they that's what they all say in the beginning. Well, that's true enough. Maybe I just haven't tried hard enough. Certainly, I could see. Whereas if you lived in this area, you would definitely might be driven to drink by how things seem to work. All right, here we go. What use is this feature? What do we got here, Dice Maiden? Speak to me. What is here? There's still some results we haven't gotten yet. Oh, here we go. This is a new one. It has a substantial productive infrastructure. That is new. Has substantial productive infrastructure. And the other thing I might need to do is move around some of these places I do have because I plunked. I probably should have waited. Maybe one thing I could have done is waited before plunking down some ruins in some of the habitations to look to see where the dice suggested they might be. But so far, so good. This is interesting. This is really at the edge of the map, these hills. So yeah, there's something productive there, but you're not going to be probably not going to be finding that anytime soon. Though I know I mean to put a settlement in here somewhere. So maybe this hills is where the settlement might be. Maybe that's just what makes sense for it. Blue milk. Oh, Bob Mostel. Why do you got to remind me? I look. I don't want to. I don't want to annoy anybody in the community. But I did not like the new Star Wars films, and one of the things I liked the least about those films was Luke sucking on that teat thing and doing that whole shebang and drinking the blue milk. I know he had blue milk in A New Hope. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the whatever blue milk stuff he was drinking in. What was that? Not The Last Jedi. I don't remember which one it was. No, no thanks. Weird Jedi goat thing milk. I don't know what that was. Okay. What's the last historical, or maybe not last, a significant historical happening? A bunch of these we haven't gotten either, so we got a lot of room to remove stuff. More usurper and fleeing usurper and supporters, which feeds, right? So that's another theme that's coming up. Theme of people fleeing from somewhere to somewhere else that's been happening in this area, and the domes being maybe just the best, maybe the best case of that, or the most successful of these, depending on what they were fleeing from, right? Depending on the timeline. If it's tied to the catastrophe, then these all could have been fleeing from different things, and only the dome people were the most, or the dome people were the most successful in terms of conventional survival, or it could be that there are other things that have happened. Got a lot of choices. Okay, and then after that, we've got, that was the last thing. All right, how populated? What we got in terms of population? What do we got here? This one I think we've gotten almost all the results. Oh, for I haven't seen average or more. I don't think I've seen a bunch, a few, and none, and almost none. And I got almost none again. And then we need an antagonist who's working against us. There's a few of these we haven't gotten yet either. Ooh, rapacious local lords or gang bosses. That's a good one and a different one. Rapacious local lords. Yeah, it definitely makes sense to have a settlement. I feel very good that there should be a settlement here. And then we just need a quirk. Right? Just that D20 roll. 18. Did I get 18 before? Oh, the rulership is widely disputed. So maybe there's multiple settlements here, all fighting over it, or maybe there's a couple nearby. I have to look at what else is going on here. All right, so Our first inkling of some kind of politics here, as these hills are fought over. And I forgot to be recapping these. So just to recap, in the hills, it's unusually dangerous in several ways, has substantial productive infrastructure. Usurpers and their supporters fled here. Sparsely populated, but it has rapacious local lords, and its rulership is disputed. Probably what I would mean that to say is there's maybe one or more settlements, maybe even one in each of these. This kind of becomes, even though it doesn't maybe match geographically, probably part of the same maybe chain, right? It's maybe not as productive. It's more wooded, but whatever. In any case, we could say it's sparsely populated outside of the population center. So yeah, the hexes in general don't have a lot going on. They're concentrated in a few settlements that are using that productive infrastructure. And because it's so productive, and there aren't a lot of productive places so far here, it's contested. Yeah. The different local lords want to dominate the whole thing. So stuff makes sense. More things that make a good bit of sense. We have another mixed forest region. Side what's there. So, whoops. All right, here we go. Danger level. Danger, Will Robinson. Or unusually dangerous in several ways. Dice Maiden, you are harsh. She's a harsh mistress, Dice Maiden. Okay. Let's see. Now we need a resource idea here. Let's see. Roll 1d8. 2. Ancient sites and relics are common here. Oh, that's a good one. Like that. And we'll see what's next. We've got, okay, our historical event. There was a significant battle. Significant battle was fought here. More interestingness. Population level. So D4 roll. Or heavily populated. We need antagonists and the quirk. Antagonists, there's still a lot of things we have not gotten, even though we've done these a bunch of rolls. There's still quite a few. Wow. And it's got violent secessionist rebels. Well, this is starting to make a whole lot of sense here. We have a contested area here, and here we have a presence of secessionist rebels. I mean, it makes a lot of sense that maybe this was one unified kingdom and it's breaking apart, or it's being torn at, and maybe the rebels have a heavy presence here. Potentially, maybe this culture, this kingdom, the hills is kind of their strongholds. But potentially, if we're using a feudal type structure, there are potentially multiple powerful dukes or princes or barons, however the hierarchy, wherever they are in the hierarchy, and that they're not all getting along right now. And then there's some of these rebels that just want out. Things are fitting together, ladies and germs. Things are fitting together. And then a quirk. Still a lot of quirks we haven't gotten. Yeah, and I got the same thing. Look at that. I got the same one I already got, but it makes sense. Rulership of the area is disputed. Disputed. All right, so for this mixed forest, which now makes sense that this is, I think, is part of the same government, same entity, same national kingdom, whatever entity as the hills. Unusually dangerous in several ways. Rich with ancient sites and relics. There was a significant battle that was fought here, potentially recently. Maybe it's part of this whole uprising. It's in revolt or civil war. Heavily populated, so potentially this is where most of the people of the realm live. Has a large secessionist rebel presence, and its rulership is disputed, like in the hills that are next to it. So it really fits. We got these two areas that really fit nicely together. Now I've got a. I'm not sure how to do this. I guess I got to go inland to hit the. Oh, I got the wetlands. Cat's trying to escape, and she can't. Okay, so we've got more grasslands, and then this marsh. So I guess I'll just do the marsh first. Put that here. I know there are differences, but I don't remember. I don't know if it's a marsh or a swamp. Doesn't matter. I know it. I know there are differences technically. I'm just going to merge them together for right now. Don't at me with knowing the difference between a marsh and swamp. I think it has to do with what one is maybe more the pH balanced for men, and the other, I don't know. It's something like that. There are some differences, I think, either in the pH level or the saltiness or something between marshes and swamps. I don't know. I don't care right now. I'll figure it out, figure that part out later if it becomes vital. All right, danger level. You'd think swamps are normally pretty darn dangerous. So if Dice Maiden was wanted to throw us a super curveball, it would be that this is actually a safer swamp. Nope. But it's not as dangerous as some of the other spots. It's just has some site specific perils. Right. Perils. Maybe it's like the fire swamps. You know, once you figure out the couple things that make the fire swamp dangerous, you can live there in complete and utter bliss. That was the dangerousness. Now the utility. 8. I got a 2. Oh, more ancient sites and relics. An abundance. In abundance. Abundant ancient sites and relics. And we need a historical. What kind of historical event do we think happened here? Or at least, I don't know if it's still supposed to be the last or just one of significance. I suppose we could keep fleshing that out more if we need, if we feel we want to. There was a resource strike. So somebody discovered, a gold rush. So strike was discovered here. We get a population. It'd be funny if we finally got one of those heavy populations for the swamp. No, very few. Sparsely populated. Sparsely populated. We just need some antagonists. Angry cultists of a local faith. I like it. And then a quirk. number 1. I don't think I've gotten that before. Oh, it has significant magical structures. Magical structures. All right, so this marsh / swamp has site-specific perils, abundant ancient sites and relics. There was a resource strike, so something like a think of a gold rush or something similar. But we haven't have not determined what resource it is. Was discovered there. It is sparsely populated. There are also angry cultists to contend with, but it does contain significant magical structures. The strike, the resource was something magical, something ancient, magical. Maybe it's just people were throwing away AA batteries and now they've become irradiated and super powerful, and now people are coming to get them. All those cartridges of ET, that's now a major currency. All right. Keep on moving on. Moving right along. Okay, we've got we have some more grasslands here. All right, here's our last chance. This is the last major region on our map. Will Dice Maiden grant us grace? Let what grace is in me pass unto you. Nope. No, says Dice Maiden. It will quickly kill the unprepared. Yeah, not just a dash short of death zone. Nope, there's no peace for the weary here in Sanctuary. Let's get to some utility. There's a functional working here, though. In here. We got a functional working. What leaves us to? Oh yeah, here we got a historical event. There was an uncanny plague erupted here. That's a new one. Uncanny plague erupted here. Definitely a new one. We got to roll for next. It's population. Almost unpopulated. Not a lot of people here. I mean, it does fit. Most of these places being almost entirely unpopulated does fit the theme, right? Take my camera again. Does fit the theme. What's next? After that, it's antagonists. This is one of my favorites to roll. Who are the enemies? You get relic creatures of ancient settlements. Another new one. Another new one. That's good. And then we'll get this. Let's just see what this quirk is. 12. Is that a new one? It would expand were it not for ancient wards. Oh, nice. All right. Nothing says, I'll just stay in the domes and live out my 30 years. Thanks. Yeah, right. It makes it interesting. It definitely is an interesting question. I mean, one of the cool things we could do is think about it because the movie posits, right, that, hey, Sanctuary is sort of amazing and they're living in this infantilized dictatorship run by AI. Once they get out, there's really no dangers there other than the fact that there's another Sandman hunting them. We could flip it around and say, look, this is being done for your own good. And even though you want to get out, and yes, there is maybe something the fact that you have to sacrifice your life at 30 years, whatever, and that there are these things out there. The fact is that the domes have been preventing you. It really becomes more of a layered scenario, because if in the movie, the dome's just a lie at this point. At one point, it was probably true. Now it's a lie. You expose the lie, free the people, done. Maybe what we have here is something more complicated. The domes still have a good purpose. And there's not only a purpose for them existing, there's a purpose for keeping them secret and safe, because, especially with the secrecy part, clearly there's a lot of dangerous stuff out there that would love to come in, take over the domes for themselves, and you want to keep them out. And that part of that safety is, yes, defenses. Part of that safety might be stuff that's built into the domes itself in terms of structurally to keep things out and keep it stable and keep it supplied. But part of that supply means that it's on this thing of just being able to hold so many people. So you get into the idea of carousel to keep the population at its maximum useful potential without it dragging out. But there's a lot of stuff here that we could think about in ways of, well, what if some people did have to go out to do things like fix services or fix parts of the structure of elements that are not in the main domes area. So, for example, let's say where do they get all their fresh water from? Yeah, they're probably doing a bunch of recycling, but maybe they have to feed in some kind of aquifer or one of these rivers. Maybe there's some kind of underground tunnels to these rivers, and what if something happens there and they have to send out a team? They have to send out teams to fix it. That could be adventures. You could be working for the domes. And it could, and instead of it being a situation we thought of, well, you're in one of these newly free domes and you're trying to make your way in this new world, you could easily play in this same kind of setting and saying, no, I'm here to work for the domes, even though we don't want to go out, or even though it's been forbidden, blah, blah, blah. It seems like, given this setup for good reason, there are things out there you might need to contend with. Maybe a power source is running low. Maybe the only way to get that power source is to find one of these other spots that's got some kind of ruin or delving or working that they can tap into, patch into. A lot of great. There's a lot of potential here for doing things a lot of different ways. I think the key for us in terms of is building out the settings so that we can support all these different kind of game types. So we can say, here's the situation at hand now. Post Sanctuary being discovered, some domes are still under the control of this AI that might have, we could say, have good reason for keeping things out. The ones that are now human-led by people who have some understanding of Sanctuary, but not a lot, right? They want to open doors, they want to go outside, but they don't understand all the horror things that are coming in there. That becomes an element. How those are dealing with each other is something. How each one of those maybe have to deal with the outside becomes something. So we can build all these cool toys and then, hey, hand it off to GMs and players and say, hey, you can pick the element of this you want to deal with. You want to be sort of almost a suicide squad for the domes that gets sent out undercover under whatever orders to go out into this horrible place to fix things or to find things or to scrounge or for whatever other purposes coming out. You can play that game. If you want to be explorers from one of the Sanctuary domes that's trying to link up with survivors that you know exist out there, you can do that. If you want to be an outsider that's just living their life and the domes are just kind of a minor or major political player on the scene, depending on what's happened, you can do that as well. So it's really it really opens up a lot of possibilities for, hey, there's a lot of different kind of scenarios we can run here. It doesn't have to just be a carbon copy of Logan's Run or something of that sort. None of them says the dome is it's made out of neodymium. You have to find some. Step one, figure out what the hell neodymium is. Yes, right. We need those or those trilithium crystals. Yeah, or energon, or yeah, you could kind of insert whatever material you need. Right, you got to find it. So maybe the dome at large, because we talked about how the carousel society doesn't really have hierarchical levels, but we could give it some. And if we look at it, that it has that. If you think about how Freemasonry or mystery religions work, in which there are some levels, and you only in higher levels you get some kind of inner workings, or if you want to use a kind of a, hopefully not offending anyone, sort of Scientology as a level, or as you keep ascending levels, you're supposed to be getting in new info, so that we could think about maybe in the dome, if the Sandmen represent, or sand people, however you want to expand that, are the kind of the bureaucracy, that maybe there are levels of people who do know that the outside is habitable in some way, but the illusion's maintained because it is super dangerous out there. And they know that if they just tell people it's super dangerous, people might go out anyway. If you want to keep people there, you just say it's just completely deadly. But it's not just something like in the movie where it's something they've just forgotten about. It's something that they're doing for what they see as a good purpose, which is keeping the population safe. So they have to tell this kind of little lie in that it's completely inhospitable, can't support life. The little lie to keep people from exposing themselves to a great risk of harm, and B, putting the domes at risk. Because if people get out there and things get a hold of them, especially if they're intelligent things, and they track them back to the domes or torture information about the domes, right, it puts the domes at risk. So we can really develop sort of a maybe more interesting idea of what's happening with the sanctuary culture and where they sit on what's happening outside and how they want to deal with it. It might not just be something as kind of naive in the fact that it's just like them closing their eyes and saying, nope, 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 the outside doesn't exist. Maybe they know it does, at least at certain levels, but they need to project that image for what they feel like is the good of the entire society, because that's their role. They are really the guardians of keeping the entire society safe. And to keep it safe, they are willing to do things like sacrifice individuals for the needs of the group. They feel like this is the only way for the group to survive, then that's what they'll do. So that's cool. Let me see what's next in the books to see if we want to go where we want to go from here, or what's the officially we get nation construction. So maybe we should go back in there. Okay, so we can go to nation construction. We do have some nations to do. So let you know, we got to make some edits to our worldographer map. So I'm just going to pull up worldographer, because we'll just do that now. And then, all right, so let me unshare the screen. Neodymium. All right, just give me a moment for. Okay, so here's our original MIP. All right, we're back. Now, because, all right, so I think we got to do some, maneuvering. I got to kind of dance back and forth a bit between Miro and, let me just get the terrain. I just want classic terrain, and I want classic features. All right, so I need to select. I think was there something I wanted to move? All right. Here we are. We're back in Worldographer. I thought there was something I wanted to move. Maybe not. Looking at our notes, so I got to switch to Miro here for a second. We've got some things to amend. So we've got in the dead forested hills. Okay, we have a trade route. So I think I said that definitely on the west side we wanted to add a settlement. And the hills and the forest, the hills and forest area, mixed forest, seem they need to have. So we have essentially kind of a fairly, a real kind of kingdom area. The first of the, I guess we could say the first, not first necessarily in the sense that which exists at first, but the first to us, revealed to the dice, outsider slash survivor nation state is in here. So let's find some icons. What do we have here? That's what is that? Oh, a palace, cathedral, church. Oh yeah, we also wanted to put right because I think we determined that here there were some towers. I think that's true too. Just to verify, because I think in those the grassland and hills, yep, had military significance, right? So that's another thing. Okay, all right. Let's put some towers all along the watchtowers. So yeah, they're all. Which is interesting because this ruin might represent something. Something broke through. Something broke through there. Ooh, there's what is that? A hoplite? I don't need that. That is a military castle. That is a non-military castle. Oh, that's a fort. I just want some. Here we go. Settlement city. Settlement port. Settlement town. All right. So we want. I don't really. I guess we'll just. Let's see. Let's put this. Put that here. That's the settlement. Which one is that? That's settlement city. I'm giving them a city because I think this is a significant kind of kingdom area. So I feel like at least one kind of city, and then we can have some towns. Maybe there. Let's call it there. All right. Got that stuff happening over there. We also had, oops, let me come down here. What else did let's see. We had also that what was revealed to us. Okay, so the hills, there's a major nest of bandits or raiders in the hills. So let's give I'm going to say because it's a major area, major thing that it's, I'm going to put a landmark there for it. What's that? What are these? Campsites. They're just kind of a danger. Symbol X, symbol totem, trap. What's that? Star. I'll go with I don't know. What should I use? Triangle? I don't want a tombstone, but maybe like a cave might work better. A cave, that's a cenote, that's a crater. All right, we'll put a cave. Maybe they're here. I kind of like that they might be near the ruins. All right, let's put that there. We got some ruins. We've got the cave. That's going to be where the bandits are coming out of. What other notes do we have? Let's see. We got to put a major trade route goes through. So that goes through the wetlands. All right, so let's see if we can draw out this trade route. 'Cause I think there's something, I'm going to change that totem. Like, let's see, I think I got to go select. I delete it. Yeah, let's put I think that's where it was. I don't know if there's shortcuts to doing some of these selectors. We're going to change that. Was it here or was it here? Oh, I could look back. I could actually check the other version of the map. Was in 1500. Yep, I moved it down one. It's actually there. Then the other one was at 18. Was it 18 018 Let me just verify that I got that right. I think I did. Yep, I did get that one right. Okay. So now I know we can do some kind of shape. I need a road. That work? Oh, sorry. All right, here we go. Oh, I think it's gonna make me pick something else. Oh my gosh, that's too thick. Oh no! Oh, that's way too thick. Okay, how can we? Oh, it's way down. No, I don't want. Don't do that. Oh, I don't like the way that looks, though. I don't like the way that looks. All right, let's start over. Get rid of you. Okay, we got a road. I don't like that color. How about there's a lighter gray might work? I'm gonna do this. Let me do this as a couple of separate. Coming, cruising. All right, you know what? I'm gonna connect that. How does that look? How does that look, we think? I'm sure if you're watching this on audio later or listening to this later on audio, I apologize for the fact that it looks it's going to sound amazing as I'm just clicking my mouse around, but I'm trying to build this road that connects. We talked about there being this trade route. With the gray, I should have realized the gray doesn't work because, we hit the gray of that grasslands. All right, let me try this again. Try this again. Delete that. No, we're all good. Now I want a road. I guess we'll go with black. I would love it to have. I don't know if there's a way to give it some kind of dashes. Anyone know? Would love to give it some kind of dashing. All right, let's try this again. So we're starting here, and we're going. Oh wait, that's not. I'm not selected. All right, we're gonna try curve. No. What is happening? Curve. Coming in here, coming in, coming in. I kind of like to use the borders of the hexes just for convenience. And coming in, going in. Now we're passing through the wetlands. We're going down. We're hidden here. And I want to make them separate. So how does that? Not great. Oops. Not great. All right. I think it's just still too big. Try 6. No, I don't. What are you doing? Ah, killing me, Smales. Okay, let's try this again. Are we ready? Here we go. Here we go. This time I'm using the edges so that I can kind of touch all the different places I want that place to touch. I guess it'll do. Maybe I can at least edit it. Maybe I can, I guess it's a horrible looking road. Oh, that's just but ugly. It'd be ugly. Let's see. Change the type from simple to dashed. All right, let's try that. Thanks, Bob Mostel. Maybe that's just what I needed. No, shapes. Select. Oh, there it is. Dashed. All right. That makes it look actually a bit better. We can clean that up later. Point being is now we have this is that trade route that was talked about, sung in song that we got in our dice results. There was a trade route passing through. I think we could talk about maybe this goes underground. Potentially, we might want to swing it up here. Maybe the raiders are close by. Maybe they're not. I need to amend that. But we have this connective tissue here that runs through this area between the settlements. And I would imagine these are different nations. We could do possibly 3 now. So maybe this is 1 down here, 2 up here, the domes 3, 4th up here. Let's go ahead and I think we can use these shapes or do something for. I know there's one for doing nations. I don't know. Let's see. What do we have here? Here we go. We want borders. I'm just going to write one of those. So one of the borders. See if I can do this. I want it. Whoa. Why are you always doing that to me, man? Make these. It's going to be super thick. We're using the natural. Using the natural. And of course, it might go off the edge of the map, but for us, this is going to look super sloppy. How did I not select that? Okay, hold on. I'm going to select. That not select? Can I not? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, part of that doesn't connect. No. Can I undo that? No. Oh, you're killing me, schmales. Try this again. Hey, at least now it's thinner. No, why are you starting off the map like that? Help me out here. Agony. Oh, that one was my fault. That one was my fault. Hexographer, worldographer. Following the course of the river. Whoops. I went too far. Try that again. I got all caught up in following the river and I forgot to exit the river. No. Worldographer. Oh, worldographer. All right, he comes up, then we're no longer, maybe those ruins now, because they're ruined, it's outside their jurisdiction. Don't give me that jurisdiction. Yeah. Okay. That looks reasonable. So there we go. We got that one. And now let me put in one more for this area here. No. No, sir. They're going, following up the hills. I'm going to say that, you know what, they do claim. They do claim that. Claim that a particular ruin is theirs. And now we'll do the last one. Guys up here, maybe they might be small. There, this is it. They're just claiming these areas here. All right. I suppose I'll do one more just for completeness. Ooh. Oh, the agony. And then we've got just. All right. Bob Monson says within Worldographer, you can set snap to grid, which is easier when you're going around areas. All right, maybe I'll go back and do those a little bit later so I can snap them a little bit more precisely. If you turn on snap to grid, you could just click on the hex vertices. Okay, well, I might go through there and try to neaten them up, but this will work for us. This will work for us now. So now we've added a few things, right? We've added some more detail. We have this line of forts that we determine, or towers, some kind of military presence here's on the grassy hills to protect this nation from things like these raiders and other types. And maybe the raiders took out these. They were able to take down this particular defense. For what purposes, we don't know yet. We had established that there was a trading route that went through some of these regions, so we've mapped that in here. We also had established that there was definitely some kind of society in conflict, in self-conflict over here. So on to the, I guess we're calling it the southwest of the domes. We've got that in here. We just got this little kingdom up here of some kind. Of course, we have the domes in the center. And we have, let me save this. Let me export. Give me 144. Give me not that much. 144, please. Call this version 2. All right, I am outputting that. I will call that version 2. I will post it in the show notes. Folks, I think this will call this a wrap for this episode. It was great that we got all those details. We'll move on to getting into these nations, these kingdoms, and figuring out what's what in our next installment. Will probably be next week, since tomorrow we're going to do the Reddit roundup, and maybe either Monday or Tuesday, or depending on what I got. A couple things that I'm sort of behind on that I want to get to as well. On your way out, please give the stream a thumbs up if you don't mind. If you're in here and you aren't subscribed, why not subscribe? What are you waiting for? Throw me a sub. Doesn't do anything to hurt you. Helps me out. For the rest of you, thanks as usual for joining me and helping out. I really love the direction that we're going with this Logan's Run project, and we will keep on keeping on. Throw me your comments wherever you can find me, YouTube, in the community tab on my channel, or of course in the comments of the video, or anywhere else. Guys, have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching or listening to this. Game on. Talk to you later, everybody.